peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
It is ridiculous and it is against the laws of nature that we can have somebody sitting pretty who takes home more money than the credible entrepreneur who is doing actual production of goods and services.
We always say it as it is. It is only in this country that when a thief is arrested, you hear elders from their tribe saying, "He is our son and he is our thief."
If you are deviant
Yes.
and I call you leader,
Yes.
probably you are already a leader, but you are leading in the wrong direction.
We want to see the role of the youth
Yeah.
in the security,
Yes.
governance,
Yes.
and development.
The youth that I meet and work with here, you know, we call them the millennials and X's and Y's, and it's not, they don't necessarily want to live like their fathers and grandfathers,
Yes.
do business like their fathers and grandfathers. They're more independent, they're better educated, and they're the ones that are making everything move in this region.
We look at the issues, we talk about issues that impact people's lives in Africa. The African peoples themselves continue to cheer bad leaders, and because they cheer them on, they continue to be misled.
Let me ask you, doctor, would you rather be somebody who does not enjoy so much freedom but you are rich?
Yes.
Or you'd rather be poor who you are actually imprisoned by the poverty itself?
My goal is not to come here and say, I want the majority ownership, I want to own this, I want to own that, I want to do this. My goal is we all make money and we're all happy, and I help build a big business here.
Punchline is for Africa, with Africa, from Africa.
And as we all know, yesterday was East Africa's Budget Day, and Kenya. We saw CS Okoria Tani read the budget of the country 2021, financial year 2021-2022. And I don't know if Kenyans were surprised, but a couple of good news there from that budget. I don't know if Kenyans are happy with what they had, but that is a conversation we shall be having this morning, risks and realities of the 2021-2022 budget. And I'll just take us to the Political Command Center, and Dr. David Matsanga shall lead us from that place. Doctor, very good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Miriam. Thank you very much, viewers, wherever you are in the world. This is Punchline Africa Television, the People's God Show. We want to know what is the reality, risks, reality about the budget. Has the reality sunk? Have risks become reality? As Miriam and myself and others discuss the budget of Kenya and East Africa comparison, some have 40 trillion, Tanzania has 30 trillion, Kenya has got about 3.6 trillion. But if you translate the Uganda trillion to Kenya trillion, you get the figures. You still maintain Kenya stands at a better position economically. It shows Uganda has borrowed more than it can. But it has borrowed, again, if you look at all the budgets across East Africa, infrastructure has been the main cornerstone of all the budgets, including that one of Rwanda, which was not read, which I've read, and it is in my head. So, viewers, this is what we are going to concentrate on. Miriam will lead us. There is already a chart there in the studios, which the production team should play. And I want to welcome all of you to the show. Karanja, who is struggling to get through, and Douglas Kirimi, thank you very much. and others who will join the show. Miriam, take us through the headlines, newspapers this morning, right from Nairobi. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And on the Standard newspaper, the main headline there reads, "More pain, huge debt in budget. Yatani's budget is a study in Jubilee borrowing spree and the zero-option game of raising taxes and burdening Kenyans more." And we saw the winners, local digital service providers, off the hook for digital service tax, and about 1.5% of that. And then 16% health products to be exempt from VAT, and also 0% no excess duty on imported raw materials for manufacturers of diapers, and then 0% no excise duty for local manufacturers of chocolate, and no excess duty on bulk selling of internet data, and 0% duty on employers of TVT interns. They will receive tax relief. So that is what is on the headlines of the Standard newspaper. And the Daily Nation: budget of debt and hope. Education gets 503.9 billion Kenya shillings, with 281.7 billion Kenya shillings going to TSC. Universities getting 76.3 billion Kenya shillings, and 15.8 billion Kenya shillings going to help. So we will look at the details of that. I'll not go into it. And then the Standard newspaper, the main headline: Yatani walks a tight rope in COVID budget. Counties, education, infrastructure, and security get a bulk of the allocation. So, and then just on the side there on the Star newspaper, Ruto says you must respect the law. Ruto tells Uhuru. Deputy President William Ruto has told those in power to operate within the law in a message that appeared tailored for his boss, President Uhuru Kenyatta. Everybody who is entrusted with leadership must work within the dictates of the law and follow the Constitution, Ruto said when he met political, religious, and community leaders from Uhuru's Kiambu backyard. So that also is on the headlines there on the Star newspaper. So there we go.
Thank you very much, Miriam. I think for me, that start where you have just ended. Ruto must respect the rule of law. He should say himself. He must respect the rule of law, come clean, and take an audit, lifestyle audit. That was also part of the rule of law. And tell us where he got all this money. How did he accumulate it? You know, there's stupidity in African politics. You point one finger, yet others are pointing at you. Who has created this confusion? This is all. And I want to take this opportunity to tell the people of Kenya, those who claim to be close to the president, and be honest. If we go on with this type of behavior every day, Ruto, Anasonga, what is this called in Miriam? What is this called? The finger in Swahili.
Kidole, ananyosha kidole.
Anasonga kidole kwa president every day. What type of man is this? Why is the president watching kidole? Koti inaharibika. Kila kitu inaharibika. Ruto anaharibu usiku, anakuja jioni, mchana anasema president is very bad. And people don't want us to talk. So, I am really, even me where I am now, let me tell you, I'm confused. Mtu hawezi kusonga kidole every time. Anakusonga kidole. Jamaa huyu, the president brought, I will remain speaking for my friend up to the end. Even if we were to collapse to go, we shall go. But Uhuru Kenyatta is a good man. Wajamaa, wacha niwaambie haki. Uhuru Kenyatta is a very good president. He would not have tolerated, if it was Ruto, the president of Kenya, and the deputy president does the way Ruto does, Ruto would have killed someone. And that's the truth. Hii mimi tasema. If Ruto comes, wants to kill me, can also kill. Because there are so many people who have gone anyway. But I'm telling you, Hii desturi mbaya sana. You cannot go on lecturing to your boss in national newspapers when you are in the same government. Hey, Jamen, what type of life is this, Miriam? Mr. President, what is this? What's this mess? The man comes, the man takes the money. The man involves all the managing directors from Kenya Meat Commission, Kenya Pipeline, all of them lost their jobs because of one man. And he's preparing them to come to lead you in 2022. Wakenya, mutaumia under Ruto. Mutaumia. Hata mutaniambia nyenye. If I'm still alive, you will come and say that Ugandan used to shout on TV. Huyu anaonesha the man who fixes himself with NGOs, he hates them. Then he comes to fix himself, looking for the money for George Soros and others. I told you there is nothing that you can tell me. Even, you know what? Miriam, did you know how I get everything of George Soros? I can't tell you now on this TV. But there is nothing you do in that office of George Soros which I cannot get the same day, 1 hour. 4 years ago, the managing director, executive director of George Soros Open Society Foundation came to Kenya with a group. Miriam, you remember we did that show with a group of all directors of George Soros Open Society Foundation. They went to Mombasa. They met the deputy governor of Mombasa, of Kilifi. You know that gentleman, Kilifi or Mombasa, who was an NGO man. They came here, Macau Mutua and others. They met the deputy president, not under the sanction of the government. It was a private meeting. I brought it out, but people did not see the significance. In Deputy President's office, there is a man called Abraham Sungoye. Who is he? Whom does he work for? Indio maneno. If people don't chunguza, mutaniambia. I was fighting ICC. Kumbe, I was fighting people who were inside there, who had actually injured this Ruto. Me, I did not know. Now I'm knowing that Murkomen and the Sangha and that guy were the same people who wrote statements to implicate William Ruto. Karim Khan is taking over on Tuesday. I wish them good luck, and it is going to happen, but let's wait and see. We don't know. The chief prosecutor has lamented. You saw that one. I think you are going to talk about it also. Have you seen it in the paper? How difficult it was on the Kenyan cases. I have told my friends, I told everybody here in Kenya, let's remove work envelope and throw it. Because work envelope implicates Karim Khan, who said it was not there. He's now the chief prosecutor. Now he's going to sit on the seat with the work envelope present. If we're someone from Spain who is very annoyed with that Uhuru Kenyatta has left the presidency, now Ruto is no longer the deputy president of Kenya, he can come back because the work envelope gives him a background to come and say there is evidence there. I told the people to remove it, they didn't. Today is the day for the budget. Let's leave it there. I wanted to clear that mess of Ruto telling the president to respect the law. Then, what is this? Are we really under government? Is there, what state of mind are we in Miriam? A deputy president of the same government pointing at his boss And it doesn't come to say that that was not correct. Rule of law. Can Ruto also now come out clean and say how he obtained his riches? We wanted that. They went to Parliament, Murkomen, Mutula Kilonzo, who, all of them, they ganged up, they killed that nobody wanted. Even if you had sold the chicken, you would tell the people you sold the chicken to get this money. But because, why are people fighting BBI? Because Ruto wants to grab power without any BBI coming in the middle. If BBI passes through, the first thing it will do is to grab Ruto. If that law of BBI goes through, the victims will be very many. Uhuru would have left presidency. But whoever is coming, you know that's the strategy why Ruto does not want BBI to pass. Whoever is coming to stand as a president, if BBI referendum passes now, Ruto cannot pass the test. Did you know that? That's why they are fighting BBI. The Corruption and the Economic Crimes Act will change. The agencies will be scrutinizing each and everything about an individual before being presented as a presidential candidate. He won't pass the interview. Therefore, what do? Kill it before it takes off. So, Miriam, there comes a time when the Bible says, I've not come to a time to wrap up my dust and leave. Paul was told, don't waste a lot of time talking to people who don't listen. I've done my best as an African and a Pan-African, and I've created enmity every morning because I talk about people who have stolen, who have taken money and who have turned on my friend Uhuru Kenyatta. They molested him day in, day out. His own deputy molested him. But if people cannot fight when you are in power, when will you fight this Ruto when you are out of power? That's the question I'm asking. Therefore, I submit that on that question, let's leave it. Let the developments come. Let other people answer. Let's go to our budget, and the people can make comments. Miriam, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So let's look at the headline there on the Daily Nation budget of debt and hope. On infrastructure, 182.5 billion Kenya shillings was allocated for building of roads and bridges, and 27.2 billion Kenya shillings for the Nairobi-Naivasha SGR, and we shall get into the details of that. But we see infrastructure is one of the key drivers of President Uhuru Kenyatta's Big Four agenda, and we've seen him concentrate so much on improving the infrastructure of this country from, I think, every corner of this country. Douglas Kirimi.
Thank you, Miriam, and thank you for having me on the show. On the infrastructure budgetary allocation, I laud the president for his own initiative to be able to develop this country and also be able to take it forward. Remember, Miriam, when the Thika Super Highway was being built by President Kibaki, we could not see the very sense of using billions of shillings, over 50 billion shillings, to be able to construct the road. And when I was coming to Nairobi, we would talk about the inconveniences about building a bigger road. We don't need roads. We are not feeding on roads. And we would talk about many issues concerning the same. But today, Miriam, places like Kamaki's, the southern and northern bypass, and also the northern bypasses, which are also which touches the Thika Super Highway, have come up as a result of the same. The great infrastructural projects that we have seen on Thika Road and other places neighboring that infrastructural investment, we have seen them come up, and also people have been able to put a lot of money in their pockets. Rand rates have also gone high, and also people have been able to benefit from the same. The same we can say of the infrastructural projects that the president has initiated in different places in this country. And also, Miriam, that budgetary allocation is going to spur development in this country, though not in the first year or second year. by third or fourth year, we shall be able to appreciate what the president has been able to do, like we have done for the past 7 years with the great infrastructural projects that we have seen. For example, Miriam, with the Keno Marua dual carriage that is being done by the president and administration, we have been able to see land prices go up. People have been able to put up shopping malls. People have been able to put up petrol stations. The opportunities have been able to open to the people. And this is what President Kibaki did with his infrastructural projects. President Kibaki never gave people handouts. He invested in infrastructural projects and transport to make sure that the people can be able to generate sustainable income and sustainable livelihoods from the same. And also, Miriam, the allocation that was done to the Nairobi Metropolitan Services, that NMS investment is going to pay off, because, Miriam, our city trajectory has been changed in terms of investment, in terms of landscape and everything that comes with the infrastructure in a city. We are now towards a modern and a clean and also a very, 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 very investor secure and very investor safe city that has been able to modernize its transport sector, health services, and everything that comes with a clean city, Miriam. So that is something that has stood out for me, the Nairobi Metropolitan allocation, and also the infrastructural investment. Because, Miriam, this may not put money directly into the pockets of the people, but it's going to spur economic development, social development, and also political development. Because, Miriam, where people used to behind ring and also be able to sit down without proper social amenities and all that, it's going to give them an economic sense of belonging and also give them something tangible that they can be able to do without necessarily having to idle around and also continue whining and wiping the emotions about the economy. Because, Miriam, when you invest in an infrastructure, in an economy, you are going to spur that country economically, politically, and socially. You touch the three aspects of our society. And also, Miriam, I want to, as I conclude, I want to mirror that with the investment projects that Joe Biden is doing in the US, at the 1.9 trillion infrastructural projects that the flagship projects of Joe Biden. He wants to take the USA from number 14 in the world to number 1 in the world. And also, Miriam, that is what we need to underscore as the people of this country. Yes, we are having budgetary constraints and all that, but if we achieve that, our country is going to be at par, and we are going to continue leading in the region and Africa at large, and also have a place in the world. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Now, about 27.2 billion Kenya shillings has been allocated for the Nairobi-Naivasha SGR.
Miriam,
yes.
Before you go further, something breaking news has just arrived. At this rate, I've just written something very interesting. At this rate, the sky is going to be unconstitutional. The High Court in Kenya, a few minutes ago, declared the Nairobi Metropolitan Services unconstitutional. That's the breaking news. So before you even go further on that, this is exactly, if you look at what Nairobi Metropolitan Services have done, and you declare them, you are the judge. You are the judge who drives on this road. You have declared it. What are you up to? So, Miriam, at this rate, exactly what I've been telling you when you opened this statement, that at this rate, we are not going to know who is the government and not the government. We are in a total chaos where court orders are being thrown at the government, annulling almost everything. So at this rate, the government is moving. The strategy they are using of George Soros is to heap problem on Uhuru Kenyatta and create a state of despondence in political science. I don't know whether these people see or they don't see. I am annoyed. Miriam, continue with, I am gone off. I'm going off. I don't think I can continue with this. Because, you know why? The same things you talk every day, people don't work on them. Where is the Solicitor General? Where is the Attorney General? What do they do? What is happening in this country? There is not a single case that we can be happy about. Something is not very right. And some of us are not going to waste our breath, the little we are left with. Something is not very right. Better the president hears this. You can't be losing everything. Then what else? At this rate, do you know that the sky, this sky that God created, the judges are going to declare it unconstitutional? Miriam, sorry, I'm shattered. I've been telling people about this. You know, you don't know how it pains me. But I've been telling people, at this rate, George Soros is in this country. Ruto has gone and joined the NGOs. They are dismantling Uhuru Kenyatta day and night. George Soros' money is here. And people think I'm a madman. So there you are. The High Court has just nullified the good roads. It means the man cannot even do a simple road. Giving back. Nairobi County, back to crooks who are taking the money. Which country can allow that? That's why at times Museveni is correct. At least you show some people. Me, I disagreed with him. I'm not like a Besigye. Museveni and the Besigye disagreed on something they know, not Matanga. My disagreement with Museveni, he has solved it. Now through Rugunda being a special envoy, that's all I needed. I needed a peaceful man so that President Museveni can give me my money. And I've been assured it will be coming soon, Miriam. I have no disagreement over cheapness. If a boy who was born when I was fighting Museveni wants to take on Museveni, either you are in opposition, or you go to a rebel camp and train rebels. There are two options, ndio. Ziko hii mbili. Mimi yangu nasema hiyo leo. I've been struggling, but I don't struggle negatively. I told you I'll reach an apex. In the new system of Museveni, I'm in the apex of Rugunda. You can't do anything anymore. He's a special envoy, an ambassador plenipotentiary, special duties. That is what Kutesa has been sitting on for a long time. Not to be able to appoint people to help a system that is crumbling internationally. You are being put on sanctions and you want to crumble with sanctions. Create a program we talk about. I'm now pissed off. I don't want to spoil your show. I'm really very disturbed. Another court order. So where is the president now? Who is protecting the president? Where are we? Another court order. Tomorrow they are going to declare that the plot on where the state house sits is unconstitutional. Where are we heading? Where are we heading? Muthoka, you are my friend for a long time. Yes. We have talked. Ruto has damaged Uhuru. Thank you very much, Ruto. But Uhuru has friends like me. My tears don't fall for nothing. I feel so sad. So sad. A country so good, Miriam, is being taken down. Where is Raila? Where is Raila here? Where are they?
Namtaka mzee lakini mwambie sio ananieba ama anafanya namna gani?
Onyari, switch off a bit. Where is Raila here? People should come and help. This is going too far. Thank you very much. I cry not because I don't have where to go. I have where to go, Miriam. Very peacefully, palatial, where I can stay without any problem. But I cry because this country is being dismembered by the same traits I've stopped it down in the south. In the south, my Zimbabwe, they have listened. We've done it. We've done it in Zimbabwe. We don't joke with fucking Mafikizolo. We've done it. You remove the judge, you come and conspire with us in court. We are in power. Look at Zimbabwe. Haven't you read the headline in Zimbabwe? Put it on for Kenyans to see. Jeff, put the thing on here. Put the newspaper here. And you see Professor. That is how things work. You cannot allow George Soros' money coming into your country. You go on, we go on playing about. I have been talking about George Soros. Nobody takes heed. They think, oh, this Ugandan shouts. Now see. The High Court has declared NMS, Nairobi Metropolitan Service, null and void. So now, Onyari Professor, with all this material, come tell me something now. You're Kenyan. Are you not more bitter than me? Where are we heading? Haven't we come to a state of no hopelessness? It's despondence. Is there power anymore? Do people respect the presidency? Where are we heading? Bring the newspaper here. I want to see it. Let everybody see. That's how people who respect advice, that's what they do. Hey, wake up. Jeff, bring the Daily News, which is an opposition newspaper in Zimbabwe. Put it here. What has it written? Put it. Miriam, I'm very bitter. And I don't think any Kenyan is happy. Who is patriotic, who loves Uhuru Kenyatta, who loves peace. We are heading towards anarchy. If the courts take over a state and manage the state, instead of the executive state managing the court and working with them, where are we heading? We are heading to anarchy. Because the courts have become rogue. What the courts are trying to do right now, Stephen, is that newspaper coming or not?
It's coming.
What William and the panel, where we are heading now is this. Soon, this, you know what the strategy is? Pressurize the MPs, senators. You bring it up. You bring the newspaper up for people to see. Court approves this. Mr. Malaba is the Chief Justice of Zimbabwe. One stupid NGO activist judge, 2-3, started to rule him out of court, that he is not supposed to be in court, to be the Chief Justice. We have been battling this in the background. Here, you look at Do you think these appeals will go through? You think so? Do you think so, Professor? You think this, you have seen what the president has written there. People don't want to listen. It is very clear that nobody wants to hear about Article 166. Every lawyer in Kenya has been brainwashed by Ruto and Ruto's money. That Article 166(2)(c) does not exist in the Constitution. President should not have integrity, should appoint even a thief who has just defiled another, raped another woman down there. Now, they have seen Article 166. Now, lawyers like Grandi Mura, who are well known to be pirates, who have gathered money from piracy, they come on national television and tell people how rich they are. And then they say, oh, the president should appoint first. Why? The president cannot go into the JSC. No. So there we are. I'm pained. Maybe Onyali can soften my heart. If there is anything he can tell me. I submit.
All right, Professor, very good morning to you.
Morning, Miriam.
Yeah, Doctor was reacting to a breaking news that the court has declared Nairobi Metropolitan as unconstitutional, the NMS.
So? So what happened?
What are you saying? What happened? Boss, you know. Why? Yesterday,
Dr. Masanga, if you actually follow my argument, it can help someone. But since they just hear us talk here, Miriam, Dr. Masanga, you should be able to make use of the intelligence. You have got a military background. If you don't make out of your intelligence, you will be ashamed in broad daylight. Yesterday, I was here, Miriam, saying, what happens when Parliament and the Judiciary and the Executive don't see eye to eye, don't want to work together? This Constitution does not address it. And we are the perfect Dr. Masanga. Sometimes you can choose not to follow the rule of law. How do you want to follow the law when others are not following the law? Where are you going to meet? The president means well for this country. What then a mess has done, Miriam, you know, you have worked in these streets. You can testify. You can see it for yourself. Now, the people don't want anything. Because what the president means is, he means well for this country. He was elected, Miriam, to serve the people of this country. We have not elected the judges. And from our discussion, Miriam, the judiciary, if we are not very careful, they are going to raise power from the executive. If ever anything which the executive does, Miriam, you nullify. And you know the story, Miriam. These are the same characters, Miriam, who have barred the governor from entering the office. Let us be very honest, Miriam. Nairobi doesn't have a deputy governor, Miriam. And even the governor who was the deputy governor who was elected again, the same courts have barred her from being sworn. How do you want the people of Nairobi to be served now? How do you want the people of Nairobi to be served now? Whether unconstitutional or constitutional, the people of Nairobi will need services. And from what you want to do, you know what they have declared? They have declared this cabinet illegal. They have declared parliament illegal. How do you want this country to move, Miriam? And then you want to say that we want to be fair to each other. And Dr. Masanga said Article 166, 2C is very clear when it comes to your moral integrity, when it comes to what? Let me just, high moral character, integrity, and impartiality. Now you want the president to just say that the judicial service have said, appoint this, are they God? They can also equally make mistakes. And I was surprised to have been following the interview with the former Chief Justice, Miriam. They had all this information, Miriam. They had the same information. Then what they do? They decided to choose to send back to the president, you appoint. It can't work like that, Miriam. To be very honest, it can't work like that. And Miriam, with the advanced information which is in the press, Miriam, why can't they just give me that information, Miriam, so that I move a motion to Judicial Service Commission and have those judges being removed from office? Because the law is very clear that Judicial Service Commission can move a petition for the president to appoint a tribunal, or alternatively, a Kenyan will do it. But Miriam, where are we going to go, Miriam? The Deputy Chief Justice. It has been alleged that he has been involved in malpractice. What has happened, Miriam? Has he been charged in court? Has the Judicial Service Commission done this, Miriam? The people of Kenya are watching. I would only urge my president, whom I love, just ignore as if nothing has happened. History will come to charge you. You disobeyed the court orders for the good of Kenyans. That's how they cannot gag your cabinet, gag every appointment. You can imagine, Miriam, even the president cannot even appoint the chairman of a Ketra Deep without public participation, Miriam. What the hell is that? Which country in the world does that? And when we allow the activists to take over, Miriam, they manage to take over very nicely through Article 4 of the Chapter 4 of the Kenyan Constitution on the Bill of Rights. And Miriam, let me tell you, from where I sit, this country will one day go to war because of this Constitution. Mm-hmm. Mark my words. I can tell you as a peace expert, when you frustrate everybody else, you see the members of parliament, they want their CDF first. You can't run a country like that, Miriam. The country must be guided by rule of law and respect for other institutions. No. And Dr. Masanga, when I say you manage your intelligence, you keep on telling me about George Soros' money. Do you put them in your pocket and run in this country? What does the work of central bank? How does that money run in this country? So the government should make use of its intelligence, Miriam, and act accordingly. And let me not even note than this, some other things, Miriam. If we find the judiciary cannot work, the president can use the court martial. Because some of the things some people are doing, Miriam, in this country is treason. Even what Mutunga did, even what Maraga did, those are treasonable. You don't just come and say that the president who has been elected by the people of Kenya, that he should be impeached. Who are you? You didn't direct him in any event. You nullify these elections. You don't support him. So Miriam, it's very absurd that the judiciary, ile nataka kukuwa na haki na haki to read the Miriam, it is not taking care of us. So Kenyans are left vulnerable, Miriam. The power belongs to them. Let us support our president and urge him to move on.
All right. Thank you. Chairman Karanja, your reaction on that breaking news?
Thank you very much, Miriam, and good morning to our viewers wherever they are watching us from, and Dr. David Masanga and Professor Onyari for their amazing contributions. One, I'll say that from the look of things, the NMS have done a spectacular job. When you go to Nairobi, Miriam, the streets are clean. They have really managed to lower the corruption rate. They have also managed to raise trolleys and other machineries that were sleeping and are now with a very low at a very low cost. Therefore, when you look at the job done by the NMS in Nairobi, for the 2 years they have been in place, is an excellent job. And the people of Nairobi are happy. They have access to water. They have hospitals even in the slums. When you go to Mudhuru, or when you go to Odero, when you go to these areas, 17 hospitals have been, and dispensaries have been done by the NMS for that short period of time they have been in existence. Therefore, when you look at it, Miriam, whether it is unconstitutional, whether it is constitutional, whether it's legally or illegally in place, Miriam, the people of Nairobi are benefiting. And that, to me, that is what matters the most. Because what we need as the people of this country is service delivery, is developmental, infrastructure developmental taking shape. And that is what NMS and the able leadership of General Badi have been able to achieve. Therefore, the people of Nairobi don't care whether the NMS is constitutional. What they want is services. And because the leadership of the former governor, the corrupt governor, Mike Sonko, failed to achieve that, and the courts didn't declare that as an unconstitutional, Miriam. When we have log readers who are governing public resources, who are disorganizing the city, the courts were silent. But when they have seen the work is being done, they are coming out to try and sabotage the agenda of President Uhuru Kenyatta, Miriam. They have been saying even the Kenya Meat Commission, Miriam, by it being moved to be managed by the KDF, they said that is also unconstitutional. Miriam, when you go to the streets of Nanyuki today, Miriam, because the train comes to the cargo to take the cattle to all the way to Athi River, Miriam, the farmers are happy. Therefore, at the end of the day, Miriam, these things that they term unconstitutional, they are beneficial to the people of Kenya, Miriam. To some extent, I see we need more NMS, Miriam, around the country in our 47 counties, so that, Miriam, we can have a taste of the good work being done in Nairobi. Therefore, these courts, Miriam, and I agree to some extent, these courts have been hijacked by certain quarters who want to sabotage and to see President Uhuru Kenyatta not achieving his legacy, Miriam. Therefore, at the end of the day, Miriam, we must work on our judiciary to ensure we have good people, we have men and women of integrity who cannot be pocketed with few coins, who cannot be bought at a price, so that we can be able to move this country to the next level, Miriam. If we allow these things to continue, we might see the High Court declaring the constitutional and the constitution that we have in this country unconstitutional, Miriam. These guys, sometimes they contradict themselves. They can make such kind of silly rulings, Miriam, and we will not have a country, Miriam. This is a constitutional crisis, Miriam, and if it escalates, Miriam, we are heading to a political crisis, Miriam. And if we reach at that juncture, Miriam, you'll see people trying to impeach the president on grounds that are not even that don't hold anything. You saw them, and today you saw on the dailies, Miriam, they are talking of a possible impeachment of the president, Miriam. What have we done to bring services to the people of Nairobi, to ensure farmers have good markets, to ensure that Kenyans have good infrastructure, good roads and railways? If they have, I don't get the problem, because President Uhuru Kenyatta has really achieved, and he is working on his legacy, Miriam. And when you walk around, Miriam, even those people who hate the president, they know a project near them that is done by the national government that is beneficial to the people of this country. If the courts don't want to see that happen, Miriam, if the likes of Maraga and Willy Mutunga, Miriam, feel like president is not doing the right thing, they should come in 2022 and seek elective positions and seek the presidency, and we elect them to go and do right what President Uhuru Kenyatta is not doing. They should give him time to finish his term and go home, Miriam. 2022 will come. They will have their person who they think, that angel that they feel will transform this country, Miriam. It is only 14 months. They should be preparing him, training him on what is constitutional, training him on what he should do things, Miriam. And when 2022 comes, Miriam, they should tell us, this is a man that will follow the constitution, elect him as Kenyans, because that is the route that they are heading, Miriam. And to me, I see they are heading the route of the Tanga, they're heading the route of the deputy president. And if that is a man they feel will follow the constitution, Miriam, let them wait and 2022, and they'll go and campaign for him. But for now, the person in power is president. And Miriam, something else. President has been elected by the people of Kenya. And these judges, Miriam, they have been appointed. The constitution says they are the custodian of the constitution. But they are not, you know, when you're custodian, you are just there to ensure that things goes the right way. But what we have guys who are interpreting the constitution in the judiciary. They want to tell us what should be implemented and what should not be done. That should be left for to the executive to execute the constitution. Theirs is to interpret the law, but the execution of the law is for the executive and the legislature. Miriam, I beg to submit at that juncture. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Douglas Kiremi, your reaction to, LSK had gone to, to challenge the existence of NMS, and the court just declared that NMS is unconstitutional. Your reaction? Douglas? Okay, so Douglas is not there. He's probably having a bit of trouble with his reception at this it's afternoon now. So I guess we continue with what we were looking at earlier. And Professor, before that breaking news, we were looking at the budget that was read yesterday, and President Uhuru Kenyatta, our Minister of Finance, allocated 182.5 billion Kenya shillings for building of roads and bridges, and 27.2 billion Kenya shillings for the Nairobi-Naivasha SGR. What will this mean to the economy of Kenya, and especially for this region, the Nairobi-Naivasha SGR in particular?
Miriam, that will mean huge and phenomenal research to the people of the region. Miriam, we are supposed to have an industrial park, Miriam, at Naivasha, and if that will come to be a reality, Miriam, what that one means, Miriam, the infrastructure means that there will be so more manufacturing industries coming around that place, Miriam. It means, Miriam, people will be able to get jobs, Miriam. Even the housing where the workers will be around that region, Miriam, will come up, Miriam. Even the agricultural products, Miriam, if people are going to, more workers are going to in that region, Miriam, it means more food. They require more food. They require more water, more electricity, Miriam. Even the Chetamo power is going to be worked on. So, Miriam, that one, what it means, Miriam, it will see a remarkable development in the region, Miriam, and even, we are going to have this dry port in Naivasha, Miriam. It means even in the region, Uganda, Burundi, Rwanda, and with the coming of the Port Kisumu, Miriam. So I am seeing a lot of development which is coming in, and from what I've looked in the budget, Miriam, enough money has been allocated to some of the big four agenda for the president, Miriam. In his year now is sit only just on paper, or people are going to move very fast, and Miriam, and have it actualized. And one of the things, Miriam, I'm not very happy that we cannot be able to owe people up to 99 billion debts, Miriam. Miriam, there's no country which can just move on that. And when people do business with the government, Miriam, they have gone to the bank and they have borrowed money. And Miriam, that one, it can even lead people to people losing jobs, Miriam, because the business, the government, Miriam, the suppliers will not be able to pay. So I am seeing this as a positive thing, Miriam, that the debts are going to be paid. More of the projects which are in terms of manufacturing and infrastructure, Miriam. That is, to me, I see that something which is key. And Miriam, surely, if God protects us so that we don't have greedy and high appetite for that kind of money, Miriam, this country will be transformed. I have no doubt, Miriam.
Okay. Thank you so much. And on health, 121 billion Kenya shillings was allocated to improve health outcomes and 14.3 billion Kenya shillings for further rollout of COVID-19 vaccines. That 14.3 billion Kenya shillings, I hope in the next 1 or 2 months, this will come to effect from July. I'm hoping in August we'll not be having another scandal break out, but the 121 billion Kenya shillings has been allocated to improve health outcomes. Jevan Karanja, during this period of COVID-19, we've seen a lot of firefighting, especially in the Ministry of Health, and they've been given quite a good amount of money there. How would you advise, what are some of the things you would advise the Ministry of Health to focus on in terms of improving these health outcomes?
Yeah, thank you very much, Miriam. And for me, I will say that and this is something that we speculated here with Professor Onyari and others on Wednesday, that maybe the budget more will go to the health sector. And Miriam, I saw that happening yesterday. 14.3 billion going for the vaccination process to ensure that Kenyans get these vaccines, Miriam, is a very good step in ensuring that as a country, we go back to the old normal, how we used to do things before this monster called COVID-19 visited us. And therefore, I see that as a very good step. They should ensure our health are well equipped. They have
Okay, we have had a bit of a technical hitch there from Jevan's side. And Douglas, good afternoon. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, Miriam, I can hear you.
All right. So we are back at looking at the budget. Earlier on, I wanted to get your opinion on the breaking news that Doctor brought us there about court declaring NMS unconstitutional.
Miriam, I have always said that the Constitution of the Republic... Yes, Miriam?
Go ahead.
I've always said that the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya cannot be exercised in futility like the judiciary is doing today. Judiciary is acting as if they are above the presidency, they are above the legislature and above the people of Kenya. And also, Miriam, I keep asking myself this question. Who checks on judiciary? Because we can check on our members of parliament, we can check on the president, and also who checks on these people who sit at judiciary? Judiciary, it is about time we looked at our 2010 constitution so that we can see, we can have an opportunity to check on judiciary, because Miriam, they are stretching their limits. What you are experiencing today in Nairobi is very transformative, and also people in Nairobi are very happy. If you did a public survey today, Miriam, it is something that we cannot be able to gainsay, that the Nairobi Metropolitan Services was a needed break from the rogue administration of Evans Kidero, the rogue administration of Mike Sonko, and also, Miriam, when you look at it, the Nairobi Metropolitan Services has brought the glory to Nairobi City. The Nairobi Metropolitan City Metropolitan Services has been able to come out and also develop slum areas, give them a tarmac, give them electricity, and give them clean drinking water. Whatever was costing 20 shillings a 20 jerrycan of water, today it is free in most slum areas, and also hospitals that could not be able to have medicine or non-existing hospitals before. Nairobi Metropolitan has been able to transform Nairobi City County. Whatever judiciary and RSK has against the president should not be used against the people of Kenya. NMS is an idea whose time has come, and I have said they should go to Meru and take over. They should go to Kilifi and take over. They should go to every county and take over. Because, Miriam, if we don't take over these counties, we continue experiencing counties like Turkana with hundreds of billions that have been eaten by one man and his girlfriends. We can no longer continue having public resources managed by these rogue governors who continue misusing public resources. Miriam, how many scandals have you had since NMS came into play? And at the end of the day, military people are delivering services in this country. And if the RSK will continue saying that we are militarizing the country, we would rather have a militarized Nairobi, and the slum dwellers, the poor people, children and women, will have better services, Miriam. Our women will have maternal health care. our children will have prenatal services for their mothers, and also, Miriam, to an extension of these services getting to the people. I keep asking myself, Miriam, where were these services before? Where were these tarmacs before? Where were these hospitals before? You can find them in Kidero's apartment. You can find them in the corruption permitted by Mike Sonko. So, Miriam, the High Court is out of order, and also LSK is out of order to have gone to court to be able to declare NMS unconstitutional. They can do what they want to do, but Nairobians are happy. And I'm saying, if Kiraito Murungi is investigated for the next 1 year and found to have misused public resources, we need NMS in Meru. We need NMS in Oma Bay County. We need NMS in every county. Thank you, Miriam.
All right,
I'm very frustrated this morning, Miriam. I'm very frustrated.
All right. And I think since NMS came to be, Professor, zile vita zilikuwa pale na MCA's City Halls. Just here. So I don't know. So they've had peace, I guess. All right. Jeven Karanja, you were interrupted before, but you complete your thought.
Yeah, thank you very much, Miriam. And I was talking of the budget yesterday and about the health facilities. And you asked me what should be done, and these are some of my recommendations, that the governments and our county governments should ensure that we have enough ICU beds and the hospitals and the dispensary at lower level, which are in deplorable state, Miriam. They should be given a new phase, because now they have the money that they need to do that. Also, they should ensure that our soldiers, our frontline soldiers, and that is our doctors and the entire health providers, Miriam, they have the required health protective gears, that is PPEs and everything else, so that they can be able to deliver on their job. And they should ensure that before, and as they speculate, before 2022 comes to an end, Miriam, we should have vaccinated at least almost everyone in this country, Miriam. Then that should be on course, so that we ensure that as many people as possible, they get the COVID-19 vaccine. And that is one way of ensuring that even as an economy, we go back and do things without this fear. Because, Miriam, now we have curfews, the hours to do the business have been restricted. Therefore, we are not productive as we used to be. Therefore, I see those are some of things that need to be done to ensure that we move on the right direction. And also on that very note of COVID-19, Miriam, you know, in this country, we are a bit reckless. And, you know, from even our politicians, Miriam, they don't set the example, a good example to their followers, Miriam. The kind of meeting we are seeing going on. This last Sunday, you saw what was happening in Gachie and Dendero under these UDA campaigns, Miriam. No mask, no observation of the COVID-19 regulations, Miriam. Therefore, as Kenyans, we also need to continue taking our personal responsibility to avoid overstretching our health providers, to avoid tiring our health facilities. Because when we don't do that, Miriam, and that wave hits us, Miriam, it will be vigorous, Miriam. If we go by what that wave did to this country, Miriam, we are not heading in the right direction. Therefore, we should continue protecting ourselves, because we are reluctant. Everybody feels like we are out of wounds. People feel like the COVID-19 is not there anymore because of the kind of things we are seeing transpiring in this country. But on the same very note, on the budget, Miriam, I saw the government directing 3 billion, Miriam, to the Kazi Mtaani, Miriam. You know, now they want, and I hear that is the idea they have. They want to devolve this Kazi Mtaani to Kazi Mashinani, Miriam, so that even the young people in the villages can get somewhere to go and get something in their pocket because of the hard economic times that we are going through. Therefore, that is a very good step, and I'm optimistic, Miriam. If this is not about the rhetoric that we get from the treasury, Miriam, if all things can be put in motion, Miriam, if we can walk the talk, Miriam, we as a country, we can achieve much, because a lot have been put in place, and a lot of projects, Miriam, have been, they have been allocated a very good share in terms of to ensure they move on the right direction. Therefore, I hope, Miriam, we'll walk the talk, and this money will come all the trickle down to the common Kenyan, so that they can benefit and they can continue taking this country to the next level. On that note, Miriam, I say that it's not a bad thing, but Miriam, next time, Miriam, we should also ensure that we collect enough money from our internal sources so that we avoid overburdening.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Point home. Dr. Would you like to
Yes.
say something else?
First of all, Miriam, the topic is realities, risks, and the realities. One of the reality that I've seen in the budget is on COVID-19 is a reality. Previously, all cabinet ministers for treasury used to read risks, emergency, preparedness. You see, they used to give names to amorphous mirage, a mirage, to say there could be an emergency. So we set aside 20 billion, 30 billion. Now it is a reality. And I'm very happy that both all the East African states have given the health docket, the Ministry of Health, all their ministries of health and anything that touches with diseases, a reality. Uganda gave 121 billion Kenya shilling, Uganda shillings, which translates to about 40 billion of Kenya shillings. And then you have Kenya giving that amount of money as a reality. Because it is a reality that the disease is here with us. So the minister cannot say, aha, let me put this money for the future. No. That's why I said risks and realities. What else do you see there as a reality? The reality is the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta is ending next year. Infrastructure has gobbled the reality, has come no longer speculation. Each East African state has created, has given infrastructure, the budget, the borrowing, the indebtedness, the debt that is outstanding for each country. Miriam, believe me or not, is coming as a result of one infrastructure. Uganda infrastructure took huge chunk of money. Tanzania infrastructure took huge chunk of money. Kenya infrastructure, the agenda 4, the big four. The big four took huge amount of money. But out of it, infrastructure took the best. So this is a reality now. It is better. We have the roads. Let's see something. The people who are complaining and telling us that the country, they should not have borrowed this or that or that. There is no other way you can do it. Borrowing is the essence of every country today. Yesterday, the G7 are in London, and they are having a meeting, and it is vaccine diplomacy. I am very happy, and I want to thank the British government for doing something very, very important. For saying they have 100 million vaccines left, surplus, which they are going to give to African countries or to countries in the world. Kenya, of course, is a trading partner. Number one list in the Commonwealth will get some of those medicines. So it is a priority now. It's a reality that this thing has affected every institution, everybody, every person in Africa and in Kenya. But overall, there is no way you could avoid taxing people. The only thing that has touched me is the bread. Since the flour is local, why are we taxing the bread? I'm not an economist. As I told you, I hate economics because it speculates zero. You can trade very nicely without speculation. Were we not doing, when our parents grew up, my grandfather grew up in those mountains of Mount Elgon, they used to do trade, barter trade. You take your big cow, your bull in the market, and they tell you they will give you 20 goats out of how big it is. There was no way there was nothing like the money. It was a barter trade. 20 goats for the biggest bull. And there was another measure how the bull was being sold. The bull must be a wrestling bull. And how many contests the bull has won on Nyali. That's the truth. That's how the bull, the highest bull that has won more contests. Forget about Harwale and his bulls in Kakamega. Useless man who cannot even treat a patient. So, look at that. The bull, there was barter trade. So for me, economics and this juggling of figures is useless. If it is better, look at me. Look at it from this point of correction, point of view, Miriam. Why would you look at one option of the community as not very viable? Is there any community that can live without shelter? Is there any community that can live without food? Is there any community that can go to hospital and heal without medicine? If there is any human being here, it's only Jesus who could heal, who is not here. He went a long time ago. He was betrayed by a Ruto type of people, who have now turned to be very good Christians, preaching stupidity, at the same time undermining and threatening the president that you are working under, isn't it? So tell me, where are we heading? We are heading, economics brings us chaos. Speculations can make a country go berserk. It dies. Let's stick to our bull. Let's go back to barter trade. And this budget is a budget of hope. It's a budget of debt and hope. But it has some realities. It tells you, for you to build any government in the future, you know what you have to do? You must borrow. There's no way David Ndii is not going to borrow. In fact, David Ndii, if he's made the Minister of Finance, he will be the first person to bring in Bretton Woods institutions. IMF could turn its headquarters to Nairobi. Why? Is part and a parcel of them. He will bring all of them here. In fact, the African headquarters of IMF and the World Bank will come to Nairobi. If David Ndii took over this country. Because they have nothing, they will have, where will they get the money? Where will they get the money? They will have to borrow. So these lies that we are being told every day, that Uhuru Kenyatta has borrowed, Uhuru Kenyatta has borrowed, Uhuru Kenyatta has borrowed. There is no country that is not borrowing. All countries are borrowing. And they are borrowing for the sake of maintaining under COVID conditions. The risks are no longer risks. The risks are a reality. I submit.
All right, thank you so much for that. And also another reality perhaps that that could be on the offing. Dr. No, you mentioned there that there was no specific allocation of money for a referendum, but the IEBC has been given 15 billion Kenya shillings. Could this be a pointer that a referendum could be in the offing, Professor?
Yes. Let me take it.
Okay.
Oh, Professor has taken it. Fine.
Yeah. Miriam, the only point of departure with with Dr. is this, that Miriam, I am not against borrowing. And my first degree, you know, Miriam, is economics. But I've got this quarrel, Miriam, that we borrow money and people come and steal it. See what happened to KEMSA, Miriam. 7 billion has just disappeared just that way. I don't know whether 2 billion, which cannot be accounted. It has just disappeared that way. Nobody can be taken to court. Nobody can be sued, Miriam. So, Miriam, look another good example, Miriam. Look at Kemora and Arora Dam, Miriam. We borrow money, Miriam, and it come and disappear, Miriam. That is my point of departure, Miriam, that you can't borrow, and there's no country which does not borrow. Even America has got the highest debt around all over the world, Miriam. But the question here, what do you do with the money you borrow? You see, like now, our budget is 3.6 trillion. And ours, we can be able to collect around 1.6. So it means a chunk of the money, Miriam, we are going to borrow. And that's why I said in my hard remark that let us make use of that money and serve the people of Kenya, Miriam. And even the question you have said, more money being put on earth, Miriam. An health nation is a wealth nation, Miriam. Because when people are healthy, they are able to work. How have other countries, Miriam, I've been looking what Canada has done, what Britain has done. In fact, almost half of their population, Miriam, has been vaccinated, Miriam. So, Miriam, it means, Miriam, they are not going to stay in their houses, Miriam, in their homes. They are going to move out and work and develop their country, Miriam. So on this one, which means even if we can manage around 30%, Miriam, even if we can manage the populations which live in cities, Miriam, because as you have realized, Miriam, this COVID comes from towns and it goes to the rural areas, Miriam. You can bear me testimony, Miriam. So if we can target our urban centers, Miriam, so that more people are vaccinated, Miriam, then we can be able, Miriam, to caution our people, and we can go back to our normal, not a new normal.
All right.
Having said that, you have said more money has been allocated to IBC, Miriam. You know, as I do, that next year is a year for the elections. So they need more resources, Miriam, to prepare. And you know, an election is an event. It's not an event, it's a process. So no, you don't just wake up and reach 9th August 2022 and we go for an election. There is preparation to that, Miriam. We will have voter registration, Miriam. They have to procure the materials, Miriam. And for a fact, Miriam, I will tell you, are you doubting, Miriam? We will go for the referendum. Let me tell you, we will go for the referendum. And what I have already moved this rider that, Miriam, that we are going to referendum because of 2022. 2022 stands on its own. It stands on its own. And the referendum stands on its own because some of what the referendum is trying to address, Miriam, is for posterity. We have to feel that we are Kenyans, Miriam. We have to give more money to the devolution, Miriam. We have to have shared responsibilities, Miriam. We have to expand the national cake, Miriam. That's what it means, and that's what we have to fight corruption, Miriam. What is the connection of us going through the referendum and saying, Miriam, we are going to limit on how we handle corruption cases to 2 years? What is the connection with the next year general election, Miriam? And even the 70 constituencies, Miriam, you are talking about. If we cannot be able to have the demarcation by August next year, Miriam, these people are already represented. The constituencies will be there for the future. So that's how it looks. And for avoidance of doubt, Miriam, we will go for the referendum. Their bill will succeed. We will go for the referendum.
Very well.
So if they have put that money, and you know the referendum, Miriam, was
2 billion.
Was 14 billion as they were reaching, Miriam. But we can have a referendum for 4 to 5 billion, Miriam.
Okay.
So I am waiting for it, and I'm praying that that the people of this country, Miriam, should have passion and love this country. They should be very patriotic, Miriam. I should be able to see nationalism in them, Miriam. I did say yesterday, Miriam, I don't see why the judiciary should pull towards another direction, and the president is pulling the other direction, Miriam, and the parliament is pulling the other direction, Miriam. We will sink.
All right.
This country needs all of us, Miriam, and we must be guided by a rule of law. That's what I have to interpret with the budget, Miriam, and most of the referendum. Why it becomes a reality, Miriam, it is a recovery. It is a recovery budget, Miriam, over the things which the president had promised, which is going to do. What covered has ravaged people, Miriam. I could see more money is put on even the aged, Miriam, people with disabilities, Miriam. It is a good budget. One of the things which I was not very happy on was on health, on education, higher education loan, Miriam. They reduced by 1 billion. But I'm also asking those who have been beneficiaries of the money before, Miriam, they should be able to pay, so that we don't have our children staying at home, our students. Right. I submit, Miriam.
Thank you so much. And of course, help. It was given 15.8 billion Kenya shillings, less with a billion from last financial year. Doctor?
Let me, Professor says it differs with me on the question of borrowing and the debt.
And we don't understand, Dr. Masanga.
Yeah, I'm coming. You made your point. Let me make it. Medium. I don't care whether we have a budget of 500 trillion. Africa, the Kenya can have a budget of 1 trillion shillings, even borrowed. I have no problem with that. The whole world borrows. 90% of English people borrow, except me. I don't borrow. I pay what I have. I don't travel on credit card. I use debit card. Chile ambayo niko nayo. My phone is pay as you go. If the money is finished here, Miriam, don't expect a call from me. If you don't see me calling, don't say, I hate you. Because the money is finished until I load it. So I don't borrow. I use what I have. But the biggest danger of Africa and the biggest danger of Kenya, this budget and this summit this way, and maybe discuss something else. This budget is very colorful. But Ruto is waiting to eat the money. Have you heard my Matang? Have you heard me again? Miriam? You hear me? Yes. Yeah. The man is still in the government. His office has been given money. Didn't you see them reading executive office? He has money. He's waiting to eat it. He's waiting for the budget, for the parliament to release. As long as Africa has corruption, and I want the tape to take this. I want Kikaire. This is my position. The Kenya's budget is colorful. East African budgets are colorful. Thank you very much for infrastructure and removing risks, bringing them to reality, solving risks, because COVID-19 is here. But the problem we have, as long as Kenya has not put down the avenues, the routes the roots of cleaning the house, corruption out of the house. As long as Kenya has got corrupt people who take the money, the budget can be as colorful as it is, Miriam. The budget can read the figures as it is. I don't mind about the figures. I mind about what kills Kenya is corruption. And the corruption has destroyed not only Kenya, the entire Africa. And therefore, my fellow Africans, whether we make the most beautiful, colorful briefcases of reading our budgets, as long as we have not tackled the root causes of where the money goes, without projects, without realities, without reality on the ground, and without setting the pace for reforms to catch thieves, and without the people of Africa cheering thieves. You see in Kenya, Ruto is being cheered. Nobody has asked him where he got this money. How did he accumulate it? Who gave it to him? Which factory does he have? Hallelujah. Where's the factory that he has that produces jobs for the people that every day they own the bank, he's exporting goods and is getting money, which is dishing out and lying to people that he wants to rule this Kenya. Miriam, on that note, I think we can call it a day for me.
I agree.
It's a lie.
For all of us.
The budget is so sweet, so colorful, so everybody, even wearing all these type of things. It's not only in Kenya, in Uganda, in Tanzania, in Rwanda. Rwanda has decided to fight corruption. You can't see realities in Rwanda. You can't steal a penny in Rwanda. And Kikaire added this. You cannot steal a penny in Rwanda and walk in the streets of Kigali like Ruto steals in Kenya and goes on insulting Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and the president is watching. That is oil and water. In Rwanda, you steal one penny, if you are not lucky, the firing squad could take you quietly. But they lock you up, sentence you. Let's change the law. Let's have the BBI coming in to change the law to lock people. Ruto is fighting BBI because he will be first student in a committee.
Grant.
Have I brought some sense in your show today?
Amen.
Pick up those bites, Kikaire, before you go home today. Let's bring these things. We can't be talking. Let them be in the YouTube. Wacha watu wasikie. Hey, we cannot operate like this all the time. Enough is enough. The budget has been read. The guy is waiting. Where has the money been allocated? We used to have textbooks. He was selling textbooks. You remember? People used to ban schools. Are they banning schools anymore?
No.
All the managing directors that were in parastatus are suspended. You find them walking with their trousers almost falling. Who has caused them to be suspended? To the extent that one man from his own ethnic group was crying that you have suspended a team of Zambian football club that perished in Cameroon, Yaoundé, when the plane took all of them after they had won the cup. You remember that? You remember what Chelsea Cartel said? What has happened to those cases? The DPP came up and told us how they were going to get these guys. We have not seen any. We have seen only one case of Waruke that shook this country to the spine. When Waruke was sentenced by Mumbi, was it Mumbi or that judge? Juma. That Juma should be even on top of Court of Appeal. I think he has been promoted, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, she should be promoted. She hammered Waruke. Waruke now is as thin as a stick. He used to go to every hotel and eat. Now he can't eat because the sentence is waiting. Now you have allowed Ruto to walk around stealing. He has stolen money. Then he walks around to insult his boss. And we are watching. We go to functions, we meet. The president looks like he has been cornered. And then we go out. Look, something has to happen. That's why BBI must happen. And I'm telling you today, BBI is going to happen.
Yes.
You know why? The money that Mr. Nani was crying for has been given. And that was a very clever way of giving the money. So those who are celebrating, look, those who are crying now at the moment, thinking is celebrating that there was no money for BBI, they are useless people in the brains. The money has been passed through, and when it reaches the time of BBI going through, the Minister of Finance and the Finance Committee will go for supplementary budget. And that's it. Then we shall conduct the BBI. I submit, therefore,
thank you,
that I agree that the biggest obstacle for Africa is corruption. And Kenya is not left out. And the biggest obstacle for Kenya today or tomorrow, if it doesn't clean the house, even the presidency that Ruto wants to take by force, by hook, by destroying others, will face the same obstacles. Thank you very much, panel. I beg to move and go away.
All right, we are also going away.
Thank you, Miriam.
On that note, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. David Matsanga. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Douglas and Jeevan. And of course, we shall continue looking at this budget even in the coming week. A lot of things that were included there, and we shall continue to look at some of these things and how they will affect the lives of Kenyans. This has been the People's Court. My name is Miriam Gotu. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye. Towards realization of the grand vision of better infrastructure, the government is soon commissioning operations of the Port of Lamu in June 2021. 3 of the 32 berths of the port have been completed, and it's expected that Lamu Port alone will handle up to 24 million tons of cargo annually when fully completed. Lamu Port construction is part of the $25 billion Lamu Port, South Sudan and Ethiopia Transport Corridor project, also known as LAPSET. The transformative Lamu Port project was officially launched by the Government of Kenya in March 2012, and its construction continues in earnest. Commissioning of the Lamu Port will play a significant role in the next phase of Kenya's socio-economic growth. The soon-to-be operationalized port will continue to modernization of Kenya's infrastructure and boost communication and transportation, which are some of the key pillars of Kenya's dominant position in Eastern Africa. The government of Kenya has committed to expanding Kenyan road and rail network to better open the country for trade and also to cement Kenya's position as a regional transportation and communication hub. As the government of Kenya strives to bring the country into a new realm of increased economic growth and raise the living standards for the population, many infrastructural projects have been commissioned. President Uhuru Kenyatta has remained instrumental in championing for a new chapter of Kenya's infrastructural development, and that is why the mega LAPSSET project is gradually becoming a reality despite the challenges the project has faced. LAPSSET is one of Kenya's flagship long-term infrastructural development programs under the country's Vision 2030 and the infrastructural development pillar under the Big Four agenda. Through its multiple infrastructural components, including the 32-berth Lamu Port, regional highways, rails, oil pipelines, and refineries, as well as resort cities along the corridor, the mega project is projected to become a major contributor that will take Kenya's annual gross domestic product, that is the GDP growth, to more than 10%. The LAPSSET project will not only become one of Kenya's revolutionary infrastructural development projects in the country's recent history, but also contribute to realization of African Union's vision of integrating the continent for regional trading by 2063. The government of President Uhuru Kenyatta has remained committed into bringing the LAPSSET grand vision into a reality. The project bears heavily on the president's ambition to modernize Kenya's infrastructure to cement Kenya's position as transport and logistics hub in East Africa and the Horn of African regions. To hasten the realization of the benefits of the Lamu Port initiative, the government has been upgrading and constructing roads that connect the port as the regional hinterland encompassing Ethiopia, South Sudan and Uganda. The port will also connect Kenya and the regional hinterland to some other 300 ports globally. The initiative of the Port of Lamu is also expected to create many jobs domestically, including jobs in fishery, manufacturing, logistics, trade, agriculture and commerce.